Alright, so we got a next one is a request from Bonnie in Kennebunkport. And Bonnie writes, Dear Sean, I'm having trouble with my relationships in Maya. If you could help me out, I'd really appreciate it. I'm just having a hard time getting my particles to connect. Well, Bonnie, this one's for you. What we need to do is we have an object here that we want to connect to our other particle system. So I basically want these particles coming here to come out of this guy. So what I have to do is I have to grab my object. I have to emit particles from that object, just like we did before. Once those particles come out, then I can grab them shift-click the object and make that a goal object. Once I have it as a goal, I only have to go back in there and just set that goal weight back to 1. So now they'll be stuck. Perfect. Once that step's done, all I have to do is just play it for a frame and then set my initial state. Solvers, initial state set for selected. So now when I hit play, they're already there. So now I can take that emitter and just get rid of it. I don't need it anymore. So now I can take these particles and have more particles emit from them. Under the end particles, just say emit from object. Okay? And we actually want to go up to the end particle one right there. So now what we're going to get is particles shooting out of here. We don't want these particles. We hate these particles. Let's delete them. What we want is we want to have these particles, the ones that are over here, coming out of this. So this is where we can work on our relationships in Maya. So I'm going to go to my window. I'm going to go to my relationship editors. I'm going to go to my dynamic relationships. I'm going to click on particle number 3. I'm going to click on end particle number 1. I'm going to go to emitters, and inside emitters is that last one under particle 3, fishy underscore emit 6. There it is. And just so it's a little bit easier to read, I'll just say emitter 4. So now what should happen is the end particles should be emitting from that emitter. And there they are. You can see them emitting from that area. So now all I need to do is just set it up so that they only emit when it's moving fast enough. So I grab the particles again. I go to my emitter, and I go to my end particles and say per particle per point emission rates. Cool. Alright, so that's not going to change anything yet, because all we did was turn it on. Now what we have to do is go into that end particle shape, into this particle shape, and we should notice this emitter 4 rate pp. So I'm going to go into the runtime before expression. I'm going to put the same expression we've written before, but I'm just going to replace the names with the correct one. So this one is going to be particle 3. And remember, we have to make this speed attribute. So I'll just jump over here real quick, make that speed attribute, and hit OK. Then I can just make sure that it says particle 3 here, particle 3 here. And then whatever this is called, emitter 4 rate pp, that's what I want this called. So I'm just going to delete this. Emitter 4 rate pp. And then I'll hit create. And then I've typed something wrong, so I will edit that. Perfect. So now we should get And you can see that they gradually go away. So there's a little bit of movement happening in there. So I'm just going to go back to my particle 3, go back to my solvers, reset that initial state just to make sure everything's cool. There we go. So now it's not moving at all. So all I have to do now is just animate this. Now if you did this on an object that's already animated, problem solved. But this object is just a regular object. Alright, probably not moving fast enough. Let's speed that up a little bit just to make sure this is working. So there we go. You see at the beginning, as it moves, we get particles shooting out of it. And we're able to reuse these particles from here. So we don't have to recreate those. We don't have to do that whole mess over of creating all these things again. We can simply use the relationship editor to bring everything together. So I simply click on that particle thing and I can control which emitter that comes out of. Obviously there's a little bit of setup getting these things working together, but you'll see with any relationship, it just takes a little time and a little effort and everyone's happy. Good luck with your relationship, Bonnie.